Hey there, everybody. It's Matt, and coming to you from my home here in Ohio. Today is a day of a lot of mixed emotions, a lot of highs and lows. Um, on the positive side, we just saw about an hour and a half ago the launch of the new Dragon spacecraft carrying two American astronauts up to the International Space Station. And that was a big thing for us because this is, first of all, the first time we have had a private enterprise create the spacecraft that carried the astronauts. And it's also the first time we've had Americans launch from American soil since 2011. And we've always prided ourselves on our leading role in space exploration. So this was really important to see this happen. So we're really excited that they safely launched and that they are now in orbit and hurtling along at, I figured it out, it's 4.4 miles per second, 4.4 miles per second towards the space station, and they'll link up with that probably in about another 17 or 18 hours. And so exciting news. But if you've been watching the American news, you also know that the streets of America right now are in turmoil. Last week ago, last Monday, we celebrated Memorial Day. But on that day, an African American man by the name of George Floyd was arrested. The charge was forgery. He was passing bad money. And in the process of his arrest, the police officers arresting him, in particular one, forced him to the ground and held him with a knee on his neck. I believe it was for like 8 minutes, even while he protested that he could not breathe. And it is just, everything points to this being essentially a murder. It may not have been the intention of the officer for him to die, but the officer acted apparently so recklessly, so viciously, that you can't see it as anything but murder. And I know there's other evidence that needs to be heard, and this needs to go to court. I agree with a lot of the people here that say the other officers that were there should be held accountable too, because somebody surely saw that this was an excessive use of force and that the man was in some physical distress and should have stepped in and tried to calm the situation and see that the man got the medical help that he needed. And it is just insane. George Floyd is dead today, and I certainly understand the frustration of people, particularly black people in America, who are watching their youth be killed off in many cases in police situations, which then suddenly it seems like the police come together and try to cover it up or minimize their ability to prosecute these things fairly. Justice has to be served, there's no doubt, but there needs to be also some fairness in the way people are treated when they're being arrested. And certainly, if forgery is not something you should ever face death or injury for, I just don't understand. I don't know the solution. I also, though, do not agree with what's going on the streets right now. It is good that people are going out and protesting, peacefully protesting, letting their voices be heard. The more people, the better. So that it becomes clear to our politicians that this is not something that can go on. We've got to get out and let it be known that everyone, regardless of their race, their age, anything, their gender, everyone needs to be treated equally, and that includes by the police, and maybe even more specifically by the police. So people need to get out and do that. But people are mixing in with these legitimate protesters who are out there in order to just sow chaos, to do as much damage as they can, and in many cases to loot and steal. I've seen many different video clips now of people that are breaking into department stores, emptying them out of all the goods. I just saw one where people during one of the protests broke into a jewelry store, and you could see they very clearly were kicking in the doors of the jewelry store, then into and grabbing the jewels and going. I have no patience for that either, and I can't even speak to that because that takes something that's righteous and pure, the protests, and makes it hard for people to understand and appreciate what's going on. Anyway, so we've got our struggles right now in America. I hope that you will all pray for George Floyd, his family, that is, and for the protesters out there, and for the authorities as they seek the proper way to deal with this mixture of righteous indignation and violence. It's a tough situation. But back to another positive. You guys spoke to me. Your feedback was great. I have created a Facebook group now to support this channel. I will have the address for that at the end of this video and also down in the comments below. And please come join in on that discussion. What I'd love to do is all of you tell me about yourselves as you join up on that page. Tell me about yourselves. Send me a picture of you so I know who's out there and all. And let's get the discussion going. I've made some basic rules. You'll be able to see them there on the page. There's a little intro video as well. And please just follow the rules and let's have a great discussion. And I look forward to creating more vlogs in the future. There's a lot to talk about these days. Bye-bye.